The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, and IDIS High Definition Surveillance Systems. Hello and welcome to Zandvoort in the Netherlands for round 4 of the Supercar Challenge powered by Pirelli for SuperGT and GTB cars. Previously we looked at Saturday's race in the division where there were huge numbers of setbacks for the front runners in GTB and no change at all in the Super GT Championship lead position. We start our programme with a look at Super GT. Pole sitters Roger Grals and Kelvin Snooks in the SRT Viper lie second in the championship. They're 11 points behind, but they have 55 result seconds added to their mandatory pit stop, a sizable penalty. Roger says result seconds are almost impossible to make up for. That's part of the deal though. We see this championship as a big endurance race broken into 16 parts. Our main goal is to score points in each race and to make as few mistakes as possible, and finishing on the podium will be part of that hopefully too. In second on the grid, the Corvette GT2 of championship leaders Jeffrey van Hooijdonk and Nicholas van Dierendonk. Nicholas will do the opening stint. They've got 45 result seconds to add to their mandatory pit stop, but still an advantage over their main championship rivals in the Viper. Saturday's race winner, Henry Zumbrink, lines up third inside of row 2. Row 2's an all Volvo S60 V8 affair because on the outside is 17-year-old Max Cobalt. On Saturday he dropped out with a broken diff, so he'll be happy if he gets a good result in race 2. In the mandatory pit stops he'll hand over the car to Luxembourg-born teammate Paul Stoffel. Roger Grals will lead the field away from Nicholas van Dierendonk. Max Cobalt slow getting moving. Javi Morchia goes by in the Mosler, and finally he moves. Henk Tace is able to follow on as the rest of the field gathers pace. Heading into the final corner at this legendary seaside circuit at Zandvoort with Max Cobalt. Hopefully no dramas starting. Safety car leads the field round with Roger Grals on pole position in the Viper. Then they fan out into 2x2 formation, waiting for the lights to change, trying to build up a little bit of speed. And away they go. The Viper gets a good run down into the first corner, so too does Henry Zumbrink. Max Cobalt goes around the outside of him, following the Corvette. Corvette tucks into second place, Nicholas van Dierendonk. Cobalt on the outside, and he's by Henry Zumbrink, who drops down to fourth. Javi Morchia in fifth position in the Mosler. Henk Tace in sixth place, and then the GTB pole sitter in seventh. Third place then for the 17-year-old in the Volvo. Morchia looks to the inside of Zumbrink, little bit of contact. Understeering wide on cold tyres. No puncture there for Henry Zumbrink, it looked like. Don't forget, that rebuilt Mosler doesn't have a splitter, so lacking downforce at the front. No problem for the SRT Viper, pulling away fast. More result seconds than anyone else. They're going to have to try and build that into their race. While running away very fast from Nicholas van Dierendonk, the Volvo drivers third and fourth. Morchia dropping back a little in the Mosler in fifth. So Henry Zumbrink with no one in the mirrors. Now he can try and attack Max Cobalt and retake the third place that he had only a lap ago on the formation lap. A couple of spots of rain as well on this opening lap. Little bit of drizzle coming in off the North Sea. Never a good thing here at Zandvoort, especially when you've got full tanks and a long race still to go. Zumbrink will have to be a little cautious if he's going to have a lunge. You can see already Cobalt in front, defending down into the corner, making sure the door was closed. And already this battle is having its effect. The Corvette starting to creep away a little bit in front. And we saw the Mosler closing right up behind as well. Through the Arie Luijendijk corner that ends the lap, out comes the Viper, leading comfortably. And he's going to have to start building that gap lap by lap, because here comes Max Cobalt by the Corvette. All V8 engines, cars up front. The Volvo silhouette car with a V8 engine, the Corvette with its V8 as well. Javier Morchia still behind Henry Zumbrink as Max Cobalt in second place tries to escape now. Zumbrink looking to the inside, comes the Morchia car. And the Mosler again just avoids contact. He is all over the back of the Volvo, isn't he? With Henry Zumbrink. Now he's got to get by the Corvette as well. Leave the Corvette to keep the Mosler bottled up behind. Great run through here. Nose to tail with the Corvette, all over the back of it in the corner. Nicholas van Dierendonck waiting to get onto the gas. Daren't do it too early in these slippery conditions. A little bit of contact there. Ooh, gonna have to be careful. 60-minute race, not a 6-lap race. Take a look from the outside. Henry Zumbrink partly alongside, but he had nowhere to go. The Corvette needed the racing line. He had to back out of that. And so now, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Henk Tace closing in the black Radical Coupe, the RXC. Zumbrink needs to get a move on here. His teammate Max Cobalt barely in sight in the twisty Duneland circuit. Here we go, down the inside. This time he's through. He's got the run. And Nicholas van Dierendonck has to let him go. Wants to get the door shut in the Arie Luijendijk corner, but onto the straight. The Mosler is there, Javier Morchillo. Same engine, same rear lights, in fact, as the Corvette on the Mosler. Well, the rain hasn't become much heavier, but few spits and spots will be enough to worry these cars still. Change for 4th place, Nicholas van Dierendonck in the white Corvette under pressure. Javier Morchillo down the inside. Henk Tace coming down as well into Tarzan. Through goes the Mosler. Van Dierendonck gets the door closed though. He's got Henk Tace right behind. Can't really afford to lose too many more places. Otherwise, the gap to the leaders is going to be insurmountable no matter what happens with the weather. Henk Tace all over the back of him in the Radical RXC now. Lead battle is really intense now. Here comes Roger Graals, and alongside him, that is Max Cobalt. Slow-moving vehicle in front of them. White flags being waved, not yellow flags, so he is allowed to pass. Graals has to check up to avoid hitting the pickup truck that's on its way to rescue a GTB car that's stranded. And now, Henry Zumbrink looking to make it a Volvo 1-2. And the front-engine Viper and Corvette struggling in these conditions against the mid-engine cars. Safety car is out, so no more overtaking. Full course yellows. And that's Patrick Selleslach. What's he looking at? That's Nicholas van Dierendonck in the gravel at the Masters corner. Jeffrey van Hooijdonk and his engineer are watching the screens as well. The Corvette needs the help of the marshals to get out. He'll be 2 laps down coming in. And this is what happens. Contact with Henk Tace. Didn't give the Radical driver enough room at the apex. 2 into 1 didn't go. We're on board with van Dierendonck. Now you can see in the mirror Tace coming down the inside. Well, he was half alongside. There was a way of surviving for both men though. I think Nicholas van Dierendonck is overly impressed with that as he gets the car back on track. A couple of laps have been lost, and this could be really vital thing for the championship. Second time Henk Tace has overdone it at the same place. The inside line is dirty there. It's got little grip. He's too aggressive, says Nicholas. I braked late, went for the apex, didn't see him coming. He hit me hard. And we both went on a kamikaze move. Well, the Corvette was back out again with little damage, but Henk Tace would not finish the race. Ready to go green, and a great opportunity for Max Cobalt. He beetles off quickly in the blue Volvo. Behind him is a GTB car he had just lapped. That's Dirk Schultz in the yellow and blue Porsche. And the Super GT cars may not pass him until they get to the start-finish line. So they are really bottled up. And they've got no chance of getting by. And that gives Cobalt a huge opportunity to build a lead. Oh, and contact. Down into the first corner, very deep goes the Viper. Round the outside goes Henry Zumbrink, trying to get past Roger Graals. I think he's got the traction, he has. Graals, maybe not enough temperature in the tyres. The big front engine in the Viper not helping, especially in these slightly slippery conditions either. A lot of weight over the front axle. Whereas the Volvo's a mid-engine car, much better suited to these conditions. Javier Morchillo's got by the back marker as well. Early pit stop then for Roger Graals. Going to hand over to Calvin Snooks. Everything was going great, even with the safety car. Good timing for us. It closed the field up, says Roger. But I decided not to defend any more attacks. Let Henry Zumbrink go. Didn't push too hard so that Kelvin's got a good set of tyres. Maybe we can set the fastest lap and get the extra point. Hope it'll work out as we planned. We need every point we can get. The Corvette's still in the race. That's good for them, but not good for us. But it does keep the championship battle exciting when they're still out there. Well, we'll have to see what happens in the last few laps, I think.
We gaan er het beste van maken vandaag.
Kelvin Snooks doesn't get the fastest lap, missing out by 300ths of a second to the Corvette, but here he is carving through the field, passing the Phantom of Carlo Kaya and the Moser of Manuel Cintrano. Kaya benefiting from that, he takes third in Super GT inside the Moser as well. Leader after the pit stops with only 15 result seconds compared to the 45 or 55 of his rivals is Henry Zumbrink. He had 40 less than the Viper team. He wins his fourth race of the season, but with 3 DNFs and a puncture, he's not really in the Super GT Championship any longer. Nevertheless, 4 wins is not a bad tally at the midpoint of the season. Roger Graal's Kelvin Snooks scores strongly as the Corvette slumps to 6th position. Great weekend from the results, says Henry Zumbrink. I wasn't too happy with the handling of the car. It wasn't so easy. Maybe the others had problems as well. We still won both races. We've now done 8 races. We won 4 of them, but we had rotten luck in the other 4. So I better start focusing on race wins instead of the championship title. Well, the championship title has shifted, with Roger Graal's Kelvin Snooks claiming pole and finishing 3 championship points ahead of their rivals. So finally some movement. Team ART duo now 5 points behind the Corvette pair, and Henry Zumbrink closing the gap to Barry van Elk as well, who had technical problems in both races. Up next, race 2 in the GTB class, with the chance for the title contenders to try and make up for lost ground in the standings. That didn't go too well for everybody though. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, and IDIS High Definition Surveillance Systems. Welcome back to the Supercar Challenge powered by Pirelli at the circuit of Zandvoort. We continue our look at the 4th round of the championship with the GTB class. Before the weekend, championship leaders were Ferdinand Kuhl and Milan Doncha in the Corvette C6, but by just a single point. And that wasn't enough when Lady Luck interrupted their race weekend in race 1, Milan Doncha parking the Corvette with a broken drive shaft while leading. Simon Atkinson, 3rd in the championship, a whole 2 points adrift, dropped out with a braking problem. And that left the race win going to the BMW M4 Silhouette of Belgians Frederik Jonker and Vard Slice. They moved up to 2nd in the championship behind the new points leader, Patrick Lamster. He was involved in a massive all-Porsche fight early on in the race, and after he'd handed over to pro-driving teammate for the weekend, Donald Molinar, they looked like they could have claimed victory, but for a puncture, which dropped them back to 2nd position. All in all, race 1 in GTB was very entertaining. Now for the 2nd race of the weekend, again pole position for Ferdinand Kuhl and Milan Doncha, who dropped back to 3rd place in the championship. They've got all to do again on a cold and windy Zandvoort. When it's cold, says Milan, track conditions are better for us. There's a chance of rain as well. That's extra exciting. You've got to deal with the extra result seconds too, so you've got to push hard whatever the weather. Yesterday everything went okay, although we did have bad luck. Our main goal though is to end up on the podium. We'll have to see what happens. 2nd in the GTB class, championship leader Patrick Lamster. He'll do the first stint, then hand over to Donald Molinar. 3rd place is Bob Herber's black M4 Silhouette BMW. In Saturday's race, he had the lead briefly until the gearbox started overheating and then finally packed up. JR Motorsport worked hard to fix the problem. The car's on the grid ready for race 2. And alongside it, the other JR Motorsport BMW Silhouette, and that's Frederik Jonker and Vard Slice. They line up 4th. They are 2nd in the GTB Championship. Dan Meyer will start in 5th place in the GTB class in his martini-coloured Porsche with Marcel van Berlo alongside. Well, we'll go on board with Dan Meyer for the start of the race in GTB. Milan Doncha on the 4th row of the grids, the Corvette. 2 cars in front of us. The Super GT cars lead the field, and then 4 back on the left-hand side. You can see the white Corvette with the red and black bonnet. That's Milan Doncha. On board with Dan Meyer. Bob Herber in front, and you can see the white and black Porsche. And that is Patrick Lamster, the championship leader. Herber goes around the outside. It's 3 wide. Niels Bohaus in the black and green Praga on the outside. Bob Herber goes up into 2nd, though. Patrick Lamster in 3rd. And Dan Meyer's Porsche in 4th place. He managed to get in front of the Praga R1. So the Corvette with a good start, and he's got the little phantom between himself and his closest class rival, Bob Herber. On board with Dan Meyer, trying to come the long way around the outside of Patrick Lamster. Didn't quite work out for him there. Bob Herber in second. There's the Porsche battle for third. Friedrich Jonckere in fifth place. And Meyer again attacking all over the back of Lamster. This is just a replay of race one out of the Arid Lyondike corner. He's got a good run though. Got the overlap. He's got the inside line. Shouldn't be too many problems. And Lamster's going to have to let him go to try and close the door on the inside to Friedrich Jonckere into Tarzan, which he does. But Lamster now in fourth. A few laps later, after the safety car has come and gone, the Martini Porsche is in second. Dan Meyer under pressure from the black BMW of Bob Herber, goes down the inside of Dirk Schultz. Contact, Schultz is on the dirt, spins, and into the gravel he goes. Well, Dan Meyer, Dirk Schultz's teammate, knocked him off there. Let's take a look again on board with Bob Herber, coming through the traffic. And you see the Martini car cuts the curb, hits Schultz, who has no chance of controlling it once he's on the loose. See Dan Meyer here in slow-mo, trying to make room for himself, but he gets bobbled over the curbs. That pushes him wide into Dirk Schultz, ironically. Unfortunately, Schultz at that stage in 10th place loses more ground to the front runners in GTB. Well, that was all just before the safety car, which then triggered the round of pit stops. Milan Doncha lost his big lead because of the safety car. He still led when he came in to hand over to Ferdinand Kool.
Ja, het ging eigenlijk supergoed.
Did better than I expected. The pace was really good. The track wasn't that grippy, said Milan Doncha. Safety car didn't really help. I was building a big lead, but when the greens came out, I pushed extra hard, pulled away a little bit more. I think that's as much as I could do, so hopefully we'll be okay. But the second part, that'll be the most important part of the race. With 0 result seconds, it's Dan Meyer that leads the race after pit stops. Ferdinand Kool in second place in the Corvette. Marcel van Berlo third. Ahead of us here as Donald Molenaar starts to recover some of the ground lost by Patrick Lamster earlier in the race. Bob Herber back in fifth. Simon Atkinson's Gallardo now with brakes in sixth. And Marcel van Berlo putting in the moves on Donald Molenaar, trying to keep him back. But Molenaar gives him the big thumbs up as he left him enough room to survive. Meyer under pressure now for the race lead from Ferdinand Kool. And Kool really pushing hard, looking to get his nose inside. But the road goes left then right, so he has to back out and wait for a longer bit of straight to try and get by the Porsche. Using the horsepower of the Corvette, the Porsche will pull away in the tighter and twistier stuff further round the lap, so he's going to have to bide his time. Car with that drive shaft failure in race one could have been the race winner. It had the pace. Milan Doncha retired when the car was in the lead. So we know the Corvette is a potent package, and in the cooler temperatures the tyres should have lasted a little longer, but that should be the same for the Porsche as well. It'll be a long race for Dan Meyer if he's got the Corvette this close behind him all the way to the checkered flag though. Great race between the pair. Dan Meyer having to be super conservative with his line. Around the outside, Ferdinand Kool, he can try anything he likes. He's got a really good run going here. You can see the horsepower advantage working. He's on the grippy line. Can he get it through? Oh, it's going to be very close, but he's 2 wheels inside the curb. Squirrels it through at the apex to take the lead away from Dan Meyer. It was a great bit of driving. Take a look with Donald Molenaar now on board and chasing Meyer. Meyer under pressure for this second place. And around the outside. Have to be bold to make that move work. Didn't quite have the advantage. And of course the Porsche without the horsepower advantage that we saw from Ferdinand Kool's Corvette. But Molenaar working very hard indeed. Pro driver made a big difference to that car in race one on Saturday. They nearly won it, ended up in second place and on for a podium at the moment, whether they get by Dan Meyer or not. Meyer defending hard, Molenaar looking left and right, either side of the Martini coloured car, desperately trying to find a way through. Can't jump from apex to apex like the Corvette did, but there's traffic in front and that might help. See, he's quicker off the corners. Meyer keeping the car neat and tidy in front. Little bump. Now he's through on the inside. Goes by. And that's the change for second place. Donald Molinar comes out of the Arrow Lyondike corner on the straight just in front. Meanwhile, Ferdinand Kuhl running away at the front of the field, just like Milan Doncic did before the safety car cost them a lot of that big advantage. And here now is the battle for third place. This is the BMW M4 silhouette of Bob Herbert. Black car all over the back of the Porsche. And Herbert with the speed, not racing his AMG Mercedes. That's been shelved this weekend. This brand new Z4 silhouette built up by JR Motorsport, and it seems to be doing the job very well indeed. Around the outside of Dan Meyer. Takes the spot away at Tarzan. Looks like Meyer might be struggling for tyres. Well, here's the other M4 silhouette. Second place in the GTB Championship for Vard Slice, and taken over from Fredrik Jonkra. Not at their best in race 2. Simon Atkinson fourth in the championship after the first race. Got by Dan Meyer, but contact as he runs out of brakes at Tarzan, bumps into Bob Herbert. Both are able to continue, but Atkinson gets a drive-through penalty. He still finishes in 5th place. Checkered flag, and Ferdinand Kuhl and Milan Doncic get there first to win their 3rd race of the season in GTB. Patrick Lamster, Donald Molinar again second. Bob Herbert in 3rd ahead of Dan Meyer and Simon Atkinson, with Marcel Berlo rounding out the top half dozen. But some very happy winners. Just what we needed, said Ferdinand Kuhl. 2 poles, 2 fastest lap. Dropped out of race 1 in the lead. Yesterday, purely on speed, fair battling, and with 20 result seconds, we still won. Great effort from Milan. Despite the safety car, he still managed to open a gap just before the pit stops. I managed to fight my way back towards the lead. Superb team effort. Well, Doncic and Kuhl moving up 1 place, 9 points now behind the leaders. Jonker and Slice dropped to 3rd with a poor race result, but they can also lose 15 result seconds. Simon Atkinson in 4th place in Lamborghini, a little closer. So anything could yet happen at round 5 in Assen. That's the next racing weekend for Super GT and GTB, as well as Super Sport and Sport. Don't forget, you can see all the action next time out on Motors TV. But for now, from the Supercar Challenge at Zandvoort, it's goodbye. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, and IDIS High Definition Surveillance Systems.